We're going to welcome in our first guest right out of the chute tonight. He made a living, of course, as a baseball player himself. Right now, he is one of my personal favorites on MLB Tonight, Eric Byrnes. Eric,
appreciate that.
Great to see you.
Thanks
so
for having
much
me.
for coming up
Eric,
here
how
and
you
joining
doing?
us.
Good.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You know, obviously we want to talk about why you're in town, and we'll do that in just a moment. But first off, I mean, think back baseball career, pretty good all the way up to the big leagues and a number of years there.
It was all right. I think, you know, I walk into stadiums like these and I just think to myself, because I played in the Pacific League.
Yeah.
And, man, like this whole Eastern League thing, I missed out on. And as a baseball player, you know, and don't get me wrong, I had an opportunity to play parts of 11 seasons in the big leagues, but like, what a cool thing that you guys got going here. This stadium downtown, like, I'm kind of taken aback by it. And, you know, not to say that in the PCL that we didn't have cool stadiums, but we're borderline in big leagues right here, right, guys?
You know,
Like,
actually,
this is pretty cool.
I think we have everything here that you see in the big leagues. The only difference is we don't have as many seats. I mean,
Yeah.
if you go downstairs
Right.
with the weight rooms and everything else that we have, and I know the days you're talking about back when you played, because I've been around since '75, and I never dreamed we'd see something like this at the AAA level.
No, it's impressive, and I think it's kind of a celebration of baseball, right? Not just people think about the big leagues all the time, but one of the things I've kind of learned from this adventure that we've been on since July 22nd, as we've gone on, this is going to be our 15th ballpark.
Oh, wow.
And so to go into these ballparks and go into these cities and to see the passion that there is for baseball, that's it's moving for me. But it's also when I'm able to step back and take an outsider's perspective, when it's not just thinking about the big leagues. Because as a player, you're like, big league, money, and it's just totally singular focused. And now it's like, no, man, this is pretty cool. I love how much our country loves baseball.
Yeah, it's really showing, and you see it so much at the minor league level. Talk about why you're in town right now in Toledo, getting a chance to check out our great ballpark, the Let Them Play program.
Okay, so basically, a few months ago, my wife and I started a foundation called the Let Them Play Foundation. And after I got done playing baseball, I got into doing endurance sports. I got into swimming, biking, running, Ironman triathlons. And the Let Them Play Foundation was created basically because when we were trying to put our kids in school, we couldn't find a school that had everyday physical education. Now, as a kid that grew up with full-blown ADHD, I really struggled with getting through a single day of class. And it was PE that saved me. And it was after-school activity programs that saved me. Now we have 97% of schools across the country do not have everyday PE. 70% of kids, this is an alarming number, 70% of kids do zero after-school youth activity programs. 7 hours a day kids are spending in front of a screen. So we're sitting here looking at these numbers going, we need to do something about this. And so we decided that, you know what, let's do kind of like a monumental event where I would swim the San Francisco Bay, ride my bike to Chicago, and then run to New York City as a triathlon across America and use my baseball connections to stop at ballparks along the way and promote youth activity. Not only promote youth activity, but stop in each one of these parks. So this is 15 now, and hand out these grants. Tonight we'll hand out now over $25,000 in grants, which has been made possible. The only way it's been made possible is through the donations that have come in online through the Let Them Play Foundation. But I mean, I don't care if it's Omaha, Nebraska, or Sacramento, California. It's just Oakland, San Francisco is, you know, where we started. Like, it's been moving to see the recipients of these grants and what that means to them, whether it's, you know, buying new uniforms and soccer balls for a team or whatever it is, but all it is promoting kids to play. Now, it's easy. My kids play. Why?
Yeah.
I'm fortunate. I have the money to say, hey, kids, go play, and I'm going to force them to. But guess what? There's a lot of single parents out there that don't have that. Yeah. And those are the type of organizations that we're supporting. And tonight, we're going to give that grant to the Police Athletic League here in Toledo. And, you know, again, like any help from the online donations at LetThemPlayFoundation.org is huge. So it's been a wild ride, to say the least.
You know, Eric, I know what you're talking about because I'm a guy that grew up in the 50s and 60s and 70s. We had no computers, no cell phones. So actually, I was playing sports all the time. But I see what you're saying because that's not the case anymore. So things like what you're doing here, getting these guys involved, getting kids to do things, sounds pretty good to me.
So here's the problem, right? So not only are we not physically doing things, and I really don't care when it comes to This isn't a fat shaming thing. This isn't, obesity rates are triple what they were when I grew up in the 80s, okay? But I care less about that, and what I really care about, the only thing that's really important, is a physical activity that stimulates the mind. That is what it is about. Because when you grew up, and this is, we learned from this generation, that generation, and so we got to grow up the same way you guys did. And guess what? Now our kids are growing up that way. Unless what? You have money? Unless you have to go out of your way to put them into those programs? That's BS.
Yeah.
Every kid deserves, like PE, it's not a privilege. No. Recess is not a privilege. Lunchtime is not a privilege. Those are rights to kids that we need to get back. And we're not starting with the bureaucracy of dealing with public education. I'm not gonna go that route. But we're gonna start and do whatever we can in our power to get it done.
That's fantastic.
Right.
Great stuff, Eric. You can see why I love it when this guy is on MLB Tonight. All right, keep putting those guys in their place. All right, Eric?
I'll do my best.
It's a lot of fun. It's awesome. Hey, great to meet you.
Thanks for having us.
Wonderful what you're doing.
Yep.
Thanks for the help with Toledo Police Athletic League as well here. Fantastic stuff.